Hey everyone, this is Austin-Sensei, and welcome back to, the slime reviews. So, what a great episode, nonetheless, to say at the beginning. They all have been pretty great. So, we're going to begin with, King Gazel coming over to give Vesta to Rimuru, and he actually wants to give Vesta a second chance, and Vesta actually goes and apologizes to Kaijin and Rimuru for what he did, and we see Kaijin actually vouch for Vesta, saying, give him mercy, and I'm like, oh, that's quite nice. It shows that the progression of, or how, I guess, human these characters are, how alive these characters are, that over time that he could find, to forgive him, which I thought was quite nice. But nonetheless, we see Gabiru show up at Rimuru's town and kind of is like, yeah, let me be friends. And of course, his sister follows, and she's in love with Sao, if you haven't noticed. But Rimuru actually names Gabiru's brethren and his sisters and her servants, and we see Rimuru by mistake overwrite Gabiru's name, and we see the lizardmen actually evolved into dragon newts, and the males of the lizardmen kind of, from what we saw, just are dragon newts, and the females kind of look more human-like. And we see that Saku, which is the sister, and her servants now work under Sao. As I said, Saku she has feelings for Sao, kind of thing, but quite interesting. But nonetheless, we see after Rimuru basically send the lizardmen to Volder's cave to live in, since it's a good place for them, where the lizardmen would live. It's nice and wet for them, to say the least, and quite smart on that plane. And it's just very interesting to see this anime, the progression of the town and it's everything else being built as the story's still going. It's just a very good balance, which I like. And we see after they cut to Milim, Clayman and the other demon lords having a meeting looking over what just happened, and we see that Milim just say, hey, since Volder's gone in the forest, that means we can interfere now. They had a pact with him, basically saying that they can't go into the forest at all. So we see that Milim just goes, screw it, we can do what we want, and they actually now have a new pact, the Demon Lords, that they can go to the forest, but they cannot interfere with each other's business, which you're going to see play a big part soon. And we see that Rimuru starts to sense Milim, because she just took off to meet, Rimuru. She wants to meet him. And Milim came just to introduce herself to Rimuru, since he's the strongest. And she actually, quite nice little thing they put in there. They left a couple things out, but Milim's eye can see the actual level of magic someone has, or magicals, whatever they call them in the anime. And it's kind of like, his power's over 9,000. That's kind of, I just playing in my head. I'm sorry for the bad pun, the bad joke, and bad reference. But nonetheless, so we see Sinon come out of nowhere and attack Milim, but Milim just stops her with one hand and just throws her like a rag doll, like nothing. And after Sao and Ben try to attack her, but it was no use. It was to show how strong she was. And we see that Milim is a lot stronger, about 10 times stronger than Rimuru, and the one missing thing I don't understand why they didn't put in is that Rimuru cannot actually use his predator skill on her. She's just too strong for him to consume. That's just a matter of fact, and as I said, it's a bit weird they didn't put that in there. I know some people are going to be like, why didn't they put that in there? I don't know. But I feel that was a key detail that would have been very useful to know, because everyone's going to ask, why doesn't he, just, eat her? He can't. You just can't. She's too powerful. But we see that Rimuru wins over Milim with honey, and it's quite funny. And Milim promises Rimuru to have the battle be in a draw and not attack anyone anymore. And then after, Milim basically begs Rimuru to take her back to the village. And, Rimuru was asked the question by Milim, why isn't he a demon lord? And he doesn't want to because it seems boring. And he basically made her realize that, being a demon lord is boring. Because she's just talking about how you can just boss people around and you fight everyone and that's all you really do. And it's not that entertaining, Overlord. But anyways, continue on. We see that she comes to town, and we see Gabiru come out of nowhere, stupidly, and calls her a little runt, then gets punched by her, and I thought it was hilarious. Goboto's not taking the punches anymore, guys. It's a move up and a step up for Gabiru. But we see that Rimuru actually introduces Milim to the village, and she there decides that she's going to live there, and that her and Rimuru are besties. Quite hilarious. Just quite hilarious, because he's like, well, what? well, I didn't expect this. What's going on? It's kind of like me when stuff happens in my life. Whoa, wait, I didn't agree to this. It's just happened. Okay, okay. And after we see that Rimuru, Sinon, Shana, and Milim are taking a bath together in their hot springs, or some YouTubers don't know Osins. They just it's quite interesting. Some people don't know that, but yeah, that was a little actual free educational thing right there. There you go. See, you don't have to pay for it. But the difference between the manga and the anime here is that Rimuru actually, if I'm not mistaken, took a bath with Ben and the others. He wasn't with the girls, and I feel they did this for the extra fan service. And it's kind of sad we didn't get to see, you know, Shana, Sinon, and Milim kind of rush out of the bath because of Milim causing a commotion. It was quite nice in the manga, but nonetheless, it was basically a fan servicey thing, and I don't mind it. A lot of people thought this anime was going to be a fan servicey anime, and it was quite funny that, oh no, it isn't. Because, you know, when you think of slime, you think of the DxD episode with, you know, them trying to get their familiars, even though that was never canon to the beginning, but later on, yeah. Enough of that, but we see that there is several demon lords. As I mentioned before, there's like 10 of them, and everyone's afraid on the council of Rimuru's, like, town that him being a friend with Milim is going to cause a unbalance in that kind of cycle. And if you don't know, Milim is the strongest demon lord. That's who she is, and she's the strongest in that world, if I'm not mistaken. There's no one that really can stop her. And see, that's the thing I like about this anime is Rimuru is not the strongest, but he is the smartest and strong. Well, not the strongest. Well, he's smart and strong, which usually can overpower. Because, you know, it's like the difference between tacticians and using, well, tactics and using brute force. Brute force doesn't always win. We've seen that with, you know, Gate. I mean, in the beginning, they tried to use brute force, it didn't work. As I said, continuing on, we see that basically everyone dumped Milim on Rimuru, and Rimuru is basically in charge of Milim now, and it's going to get quite interesting because there is going to be a demon lord that is going to, well, some of his subordinates are going to show up there, and Milim being there does cause that unbalance, but as, you know, everyone else said, we could turn the demon lords against each other with Milim, and thank God we have the strongest person, or strongest demon lord, on our team. And it's very entertaining. And at the end you hear how the whirlwind's starting. Yeah, it's gonna start to get a little bit crazy, and it's gonna dive down, and we're gonna see actually Shizu's phantom show up at one point. So do wait for that. But it was kind of weird of missing the two things. They changed up the bath scene, but I think that was more for the whole, you know, fan servicey part, and having the missing thing of Rimuru not being able to consume good old Milim because she's too strong. I thought that was a very weird key point that was taken out. What's your thoughts on that? But nonetheless, what do you think about Milim? I actually love her. I love the faces, and I did not screenshot so many on my phone now. But anyways, guys, do, you know, share this video and consider subscribing. I'm going to be covering this as usual. I know it's going to be 23 episodes with the exception of having 2 episodes or 3 episodes for Volder. I am not going to be covering the Volder ones. Just a little heads up on that one, for the simple fact that, I don't know, I don't quite enjoy them. But nonetheless, I will catch you in my Shield Hero video tomorrow, which is going to be the continuation of, or part 2, of the good old why are people salty about it, basically. But anyways, guys, I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.